Welcome back to Peacock TV Spoilers. We have so much ground to cover for the upcoming Friday, August 21 episode, and let me tell you, the drama is off the chart. Peacock TV Spoilers, we've been tracking this for weeks, and Friday, August 21 on Days of Our Lives is going to be an absolute emotional roller coaster. Jada Hunter is finally stepping up to the plate and confronting EJ DiMera face to face. Can you believe it? Jada Hunter is absolutely not backing down from this fight. Jada Hunter is going to aggressively interrogate EJ DiMera about exactly why Lexie Carver is hidden away in EJ DiMera's dark, damp basement. Furthermore, Jada Hunter is aggressively digging into the sudden, highly suspicious disappearance of Kristen DiMera and all the explosive criminal secrets hidden inside Gwen Rizchek's infamous letter. Let's be real for a second. EJ DiMera deserves every single ounce of misery coming EJ DiMera's way. I absolutely despise how EJ DiMera operates on a daily basis. EJ DiMera walks around Salem acting like EJ DiMera is completely untouchable, just like Stefano DiMera did a decade ago. But EJ DiMera lacks Stefano DiMera's calculated finesse. EJ DiMera is just arrogant, reckless, and entirely driven by EJ DiMera's massive ego. The sheer audacity of EJ DiMera keeping Lexie Carver in the DiMera tunnels is sickening, even if EJ DiMera loudly claims EJ DiMera is just following Lexie Carver's final wishes. When we look back at the legacy storylines from 5 to 10 years ago, the DiMera family always used those exact same tunnels for psychological torture, illegal captivity, and twisted mind games. Stefano DiMera locked Marlena Evans and John Black down in those catacombs. Now, EJ DiMera is using those same cold, dark, terrifying walls as a makeshift hospice facility for Lexie Carver. It is completely twisted. Jada Hunter demanding answers from EJ DiMera is exactly what the fans desperately need right now. Jada Hunter represents the law, but EJ DiMera genuinely thinks the law does not apply to the wealthy DiMera bloodline. I personally believe EJ DiMera is going to try to manipulate Jada Hunter, perhaps using Kristen DiMera's unexplainable disappearance as a convenient distraction. But Jada Hunter is far too smart for EJ DiMera's typical gaslighting routines. Meanwhile, down in that depressing claustrophobic basement, the tragic medical situation with Lexie Carver is reaching a devastating, tear-jerking climax. Abe Carver and Theo Carver are sitting right by Lexie Carver's grim deathbed. Abe Carver and Theo Carver were really holding out hope that Lexie Carver's time was not up, but sadly, Kayla Brady confirmed the absolute worst medical news possible. Abe Carver is tightly holding Lexie Carver's fragile hand. Abe Carver's hands are visibly trembling with raw grief, and Lexie Carver's eyes are brimming with heartbreaking tears. Lexie Carver knows Lexie Carver's time on this earth is rapidly running out. This scene is going to absolutely shatter our hearts into a million pieces. Abe Carver has fought so incredibly hard to build a beautiful, stable life in Salem, and losing Lexie Carver a second time is a profound cruelty Abe Carver simply does not deserve. Abe Carver is a moral pillar of Salem, and seeing Abe Carver emotionally broken like this is almost too much to bear. And you won't believe what happens next in the highly anticipated summer promo. EJ DiMera actually has the absolute nerve to walk into Lexie Carver's underground room to casually visit. EJ DiMera strolls in wearing one of EJ DiMera's expensive tailored suits, completely contrasting with the grim reality of Lexie Carver's deathbed. Abe Carver immediately loses Abe Carver's temper, and rightfully so. Abe Carver screams at EJ DiMera at the top of Abe Carver's lungs, "Get the hell out of here. Amazing. I am loudly cheering for Abe Carver." Abe Carver needs to unleash all that pent-up rage directly at EJ DiMera. But here's the kicker. Lexie Carver actually uses Lexie Carver's rapidly fading strength to speak up and defend EJ DiMera. Lexie Carver tells Abe Carver and Theo Carver that EJ DiMera was just respecting Lexie Carver's final wishes. Lexie Carver's shocking defense of EJ DiMera just proves how pure and forgiving Lexie Carver's heart is, even when Lexie Carver is completely surrounded by DiMera darkness. Lexie Carver still sees the sibling bond. Even if EJ DiMera is a complete, irredeemable villain, while Abe Carver and Theo Carver are saying a final, agonizing goodbye to Lexie Carver in the tunnels, another massive, life-altering crisis is unfolding over at Salem University Hospital. Chanel Dupree DiMera's pregnancy and labor are taking a truly terrifying turn. I love Chanel Dupree DiMera with all my heart. Chanel Dupree DiMera is a fierce fighter, a brave survivor, and Chanel Dupree DiMera deserves a beautiful, happy ending with Johnny DiMera. But Days of Our Lives is putting Chanel Dupree DiMera through absolute, unrelenting hell right now. Paulina Price, Lonnie Price Grant, and Johnny DiMera are all gathered in the sterile delivery room when Kayla Brady rushes in to check on Chanel Dupree DiMera's vitals. The sheer panic sets in immediately when Johnny DiMera fearfully announces that Chanel Dupree DiMera is profusely bleeding. Bleeding during a high-risk, premature labor while actively battling breast cancer? That's crazy. The stakes have literally never been higher for Chanel Dupree DiMera and Johnny DiMera. Kayla Brady immediately switches into intense emergency medical mode and strictly orders Lonnie Price Grant and Paulina Price to leave the delivery room immediately. Paulina Price is hysterically screaming in maternal terror, and Lonnie Price Grant is visibly petrified, but Kayla Brady needs clear, uninterrupted space to save Chanel Dupree DiMera's life and deliver baby Quattro safely. Chanel Dupree DiMera is absolutely terrified, but Chanel Dupree DiMera looks right into Johnny DiMera's eyes and bravely tells Johnny DiMera that Chanel Dupree DiMera and Johnny DiMera have to keep pushing forward. Chanel Dupree DiMera's sheer bravery in this horrific moment is just astounding to witness. Kayla Brady urgently tells Chanel Dupree DiMera that the medical team is almost at the finish line. Then we see Chanel Dupree DiMera screaming in absolute agonizing physical pain while Johnny DiMera grips Chanel Dupree DiMera's hand like Johnny DiMera's own life depends on it. At the very end of the promo, we hear the beautiful sound of a baby crying. But even with the baby crying, the dark spoilers heavily hint that Chanel Dupree DiMera might still be in grave medical danger. Out in the sterile hospital hallway, the emotional tension is completely suffocating. Lonnie Price Grant and Eli Grant are frantically pacing back and forth, desperately waiting for any positive news about Chanel Dupree DiMera's condition. This is exactly where the writers are pulling from deep Salem history, and it is a brilliant storytelling move. Lonnie Price Grant emotionally opens up to Eli Grant about the beloved baby, Lonnie Price Grant, and Eli Grant tragically lost many years ago due to severe birth complications. If you have been religiously watching the show for the last 7 years, you vividly remember the absolute devastation of Lonnie Price Grant's horrific placental abruption. Lonnie Price Grant lost baby David, and that traumatic event nearly destroyed Lonnie Price Grant's entire world. Now, Lonnie Price Grant is helplessly watching Chanel Dupree DiMera face a shockingly similar nightmare. The deep psychological trauma Lonnie Price Grant is experiencing right now in that hallway is profound. Lonnie Price Grant is terrified that Chanel Dupree DiMera will suffer the exact same tragic fate. Now, it is time for the Peacock TV spoilers hot take. If you ask me, this is a huge mistake because the writers are punishing Chanel Dupree DiMera way too much. Chanel Dupree DiMera has bravely battled aggressive cancer, faced impossible medical choices regarding Chanel Dupree DiMera's pregnancy, and now Chanel Dupree DiMera might not even survive the delivery room. That is pure poverty porn for trauma. I passionately defend Chanel Dupree DiMera because Chanel Dupree DiMera brings much-needed light, joy, and youthful energy to Salem. Meanwhile, legacy characters like EJ DiMera get to walk around causing massive destruction without ever facing lethal consequences. If the writers decide to kill off Chanel Dupree DiMera just to give Johnny DiMera a tragic, brooding widower storyline, I will absolutely riot in the streets. Johnny DiMera and Chanel Dupree DiMera are the vibrant future of this soap opera, and killing Chanel Dupree DiMera would be a massive, unforgivable creative failure. Let us weave in some predictive lore based on the internal poetic logic of Days of Our Lives. We all know the show absolutely loves the dramatic symmetry of the circle of life trope. As Lexie Carver draws Lexie Carver's final rattling breath in the cold, unforgiving DiMera tunnels, Baby Quattro is drawing Baby Quattro's very first breath in the bright hospital. The timing of these two monumental events is absolutely no coincidence. I predict that Lexie Carver's departing spirit might even symbolically pass over Chanel Dupree DiMera's hospital room, spiritually granting Chanel Dupree DiMera the supernatural strength to survive this massive, life-threatening hemorrhage. Abe Carver is going to experience the deepest, darkest sorrow of losing Lexie Carver forever, while Paulina Price will simultaneously experience the highest, brightest joy of welcoming Chanel Dupree DiMera's newborn baby. It is going to be a profoundly bittersweet, emotionally exhausting day in Salem, perfectly blending devastating tragedy with miraculous new beginnings. We must also deeply consider Johnny DiMera's fragile psychological state moving forward. Johnny DiMera has spent Johnny DiMera's entire adult life trying to reject the toxic legacy of EJ DiMera and Stefano DiMera. Johnny DiMera wants to be a good, honest man for Chanel Dupree DiMera. But if Chanel Dupree DiMera does not survive this horrific ordeal, Johnny DiMera's heart will completely shatter. Grief does terrible, unpredictable things to the DiMera men. I theorize that losing Chanel Dupree DiMera could be the exact catalyst that pushes Johnny DiMera straight into the dark side. Johnny DiMera might finally embrace the ruthless DiMera DNA, blaming the world for taking Chanel Dupree DiMera away. Johnny DiMera could become a darker, colder version of EJ DiMera, and that would change the entire landscape of Salem forever. Johnny DiMera desperately needs Chanel Dupree DiMera to anchor Johnny DiMera to the light. Will Chanel Dupree DiMera survive this traumatic birth, or will Johnny DiMera be left to raise baby Quattro all alone in the DiMera mansion? Will Abe Carver ever truly recover from saying goodbye to Lexie Carver? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below, because we need to discuss this right now. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for Peacock TV spoilers, so you never miss a single update on all the explosive Salem drama.